Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. I have a bingo, Mineola. Doesn't happen very often, about one game in 7 or 8 that you have a bingo on your opening rack. And that's quite promising. I don't have a 7. I may have an 8, and I've got plenty of floaters to consider. So I'm looking through the letters in Mineola in turn. I can't see anything through the M or the I. The N goes well with the G and the I, but there isn't an ing ending word. Then it's mainly vowels, which isn't particularly helpful. Now the L does go quite well with the Y, but I can't see a bingo. The G and the D don't go particularly well together, because the G mainly features in ing ending words, or age ending words, and the Y is quite non-bingo-y. Nice word from my opponent, Zanana. Now what additional hooks has he provided? Just the Z? Well, I can't see a bingo through that. Now, I am looking at the floaters again in case I've overlooked a bingo. It would be fairly high probability. Okay, well I can't see a bingo, so I'm now looking to sort my rack out, and I'm certainly looking to get rid of the Y. And I'm drawn to 2 spots, the double word square at K5 and the double letter square at G7. Now what I can do is Y go down here, and the attraction of this move is partly the leave. DEIR is a really strong leave, particularly with floaters on the board such as the A, the L and the M. And YGO also takes an E on the end, so I'm providing an additional bingo lane. 24 points is not bad. That's not a good pickup. Duplicate I, a Q and the second Y. But I can resolve this rack. Chi is playable. What I can't do is play off the Q and the Y, which is a shame. So I can play Chi at I3. I could also play Cade in column 10. There are no U's on the board at the moment. Nice bingo from my opponent. And loads of extra floaters, which is good. I need to make my rack bingo-y to take advantage of them. So, Chi, is that the best or only spot where I can play it? I think it is. No available N's for Chin, or A's for Cade. This looks promising. Don't think I've got a 7. And it doesn't go well with a vowel. So my floaters are the C and L of Cullerman and the R of Cullerman, but 2 of those consonants duplicate tiles on my rack. But I should be able to score reasonably well. This is a balanced rack, and I've got scoring tiles in the C and the Y. I've also got a 25-point lead at the moment. Now YA takes an R in front, but I don't have a tile to go in front of the G. Well, my opponent's now provided a nice spot for my Y at J2. Do I have a 5-letter play down to N2? It's not going to involve the C. Well, what a shame. This is pretty close to coming down. I've got Yod, leaving IRC. $36 points, that's pretty good. I'm checking back on the floaters in Cullerman in case I've overlooked a bingo. Through a C I would have decisory. Sorry, through an S I would have decisory. Now, is there anywhere else for my Y that I ought to be considering? I guess the N of Cullerman is also a floater. Now, what I'm thinking about is, well, rather than playing Yod, why not just Yod retaining the E? I like that, because nothing goes in front of DI, so I'm not opening up the 01 triple word square, and 33 points is a huge score. Well, quite a half-decent score. Now, I have caliber, spelt two ways. And I think I have breccial in row B through the C of Cullerman. I'm wondering if breccial has an anagram. No, I think it's breccia, which is an anagram of acerbic. Now, there are also 3 bingos through the O of Mineola or the O of Cullerman. There's albicore, braciole, and cabriole. My opponent lost contact or quit and didn't return, so the game has been adjudicated in my favour. Let's see what I missed. It was me to go first, and Mineola was the only bingo. Nice play by my opponent. I did not have a bingo, but I think Y Go looks pretty good, comparing the score and rack leaves of the choices shown. Nice bingo by my opponent. Chi at I3 was my play. And here I could have played Corrie at E7 for 38. That's parallel to Zanana, but Yod for 33 has a better rack leave, so I prefer my play. And this is the point at which my opponent left. So a brief game, and well, far too brief to really dwell on. Let's start, and I'm going to pause and start a new game. Okay, welcome back. My opponents go first. I have a very non-bingo-y rack, but I do have crans, which would sort the rack out quite nicely. K-R-A-N-Z. I'll be looking to play off at least 3 consonants. The Z and the K are the least bingo-y tiles on the rack, but the rest aren't too bad. But the trouble is, if my opponent plays an E and I play Zek, I'm keeping DNRTA, all great bingo-y tiles, but too many consonants. Great, my opponent has changed, fantastic. Crans is going to score a lot, and the rack leave is fine. Okay, pretty good. But is there a bingo here? I don't think there is a 7-letter bingo. And I have the same problem tile of the Y, which is really hampering my bingo prospects. But it goes quite well with the D, so I could play die to sort out all my duplicates and leave a pretty good rack leave of DERT. I'm looking at the floaters and crayons in case I have a bingo that I've overlooked. But I can't see one. Grend, not totally sure of that. Yep, it's fine. And that's a double-double for my opponent, 36 points. That's a good score for him. And he has supplied a nice spot for my Y in the triple letter square at J10. I'm wondering if Yerd is good. Y-E-R-D. I think it's Y-I-R-D. Now I have to play off 1D. I don't want to keep two of them. Yed isn't good. Yeed is. That's a shame because it's such a much better rack lead retaining the E. And that's 32 points. What about playing die across here? 22 points. Sacrificing 10 points but gaining the E. Well, the E's worth about 4 and Synergy's going to add more. Still quite a big sacrifice. But die doesn't provide many openings for my opponents. Well, I could play DD down here, which takes out the hotspot for my opponent, as in stops him from using it. Rack leave of RT is okay, and it's 32 points, so I think I prefer this. Ooh, 3 eyes. That's the problem with playing off 5 tiles rather than 2 or 3. You're increasing your chances of having a horror draw like this. Except I have a bingo. Pretty sure Tyritis is good. Wow, but right now, unbelievably annoyingly, it doesn't play. Pretty sure Tyritis is good. It's a front hook for Iritis. There's just nowhere to play it. So, time for my opponent to step up to the plate and provide an opportunity. Gosh, that is so annoying. I could go for the rest of my Scrabble career and never have an opportunity to play Tyritis. Well, having bigged up Tyritis so much, I hope it is a genuine word and not a phony. Now, what am I going to do if I can't play it? My priority is to play off 2 eyes, and Tighty is good, or TT. I can play that in column 12, making GI for only 11 points, which illustrates the importance of bingos like Tyritis, because if it does play, then the difference between playing it and the second best move is likely to be big. Now, I cannot play it. The S is not in the right position for pluralizing Bray. Bray takes no other post hooks. So, Tyritis is not going to be played. My opponent has also blocked the spot where I was going to play TT. I can play that in row I. The score is tiny. I can score more by playing off only one eye, but I think duplicate eye is a really bad combination, and it's worth sacrificing points to get rid of. Well, it's a shame to play off both T's because T goes quite well with IRS. This is all I can see, and although I am opening up the triple word square at H1, if my opponent uses that, he'll be providing at least 4 new floaters. Great, I draw a blank. Vigoro's is good, and that plays in row G, making ski. Yep, nice bingo by my opponent, and there goes the other blank. I can play vigorous in column 2, but do I have something better? Now, column 5 is a double-double column, but with U gap T, it's going to be difficult to spot words which fit. So I'm wondering in column 2 if I can put my V on the triple letter square at F2. Grievous, does that work? No, it doesn't. While vigorous has merit, the V stops my opponent from accessing the triple word square at A1. And the U next to H1 isn't the most helpful of vowels. Vigorous, 76 points. And I draw 2 of the 4 highest scoring tiles, the J and the X, and I have 3 vowels, all different, to go with them. So I'm optimistic of getting a decent score here. But looking around, there are no premium squares next to really useful vowels. My X does go at H1, but I would need an I or a U to really maximise its utility by playing down. Now through an I would have Jaxi. It would be quite nice to play off the J and the X in one go because the remaining tiles are bingo-y. And I've got Jinx at C1. That would play off the J and the X, but it would also leave A, E, O, T, which is unbalanced. Well, that spot hasn't been taken, so this is what I was looking at. Jinx, 36 points, pretty good score. Well, there is the D of DD, which balances out this rack. Let's see what happens. Okay, well, that's pretty good. I've got Ergotoid in row M onto the D of DD. And the X of Jinx hopefully will prove a lure for my opponent. Gautier is the 7-letter play that I have. Can't see anywhere for that. So at the moment the only bingo I've seen is Ergotoid. Occults has really blocked the floaters in TT. But there may be a high-scoring non-bingo play available in column 5 through the U and the T if it hits both double word squares. Great, my opponent has been lured. Great, and also this hits a double word square. I hadn't realised it stretched across that far, but it does. Ergotoid 74. Quite a nice rack. The duplicate F is not a problem. Fs go well together. It's not particularly bingo-y, but it's a good scoring combination. I'll have no difficulty in playing off both Fs. And if I simply play off, I'll have a great rack leave of DEOS. Now the O of ergotoid may be attractive because it provides access to the triple word square at 08, but I can't see a way of using that and playing off both Fs. And although the F is a good scoring tile, it's a non-bingo-y tile. And there's still room in this game for more bingos. In particular, Bray takes an S, and I have an S. I could play oft, or just off at E5 for 26 points. Yeah, I think off is better than oft. I'm looking to see if I've got a play in column 13 onto the Y. I believe offy is good, OFFY, but that does inhibit the S hook on Bray, and it doesn't score very much. Well, I say that 26 points, probably similar or identical to off and Mo. Okay, well my spot for off has gone. Unfortunately I can't take advantage of the O8 triple word square because I don't want to keep duplicate O. I could just play off from the O of ergotoid for 27 points, but double O, DES, not a good leave. Ah, now, what about this? 24 points and a good rack leave. Fabulous. I have a bingo. I have Ursted, playable in column 14, making Brays. And I've also got Ursted in row C, starting above the second F of off. The anagrams of Ursted are Roseted and Teredos. So Roseted also plays in column 14. Now, do any of those three bingos play in rows L and N? Well, I don't need to consider that because my opponent has taken out both of them. Now, Ursted and Brays isn't doubled. Ursted and Ov is. I am opening a 9-timer, but they are very rare, so I shouldn't let that stop me playing this move. Ursted for 74. And this is a dreadful rack. 2 W's and 2 P's and only one vowel. But I do have a lead of 149 points, so I'm in quite a commanding position. And I can take out the 9-timer possibility by playing Pew at B14. well, restricted. In any event, it's gone. My opponent has bingoed, but he hasn't 9-timered. He is now only 70 points behind, so he could catch me with a bingo, but look at the tiles that are left, pretty unbingo-y, including 5 eyes and the Q. Although he could get a big score with the Q and the U. So what can I do? Well, one possibility is pawn down here, sorts out the duplicates, retains my solitary vowel, which is good, and retains scoring tiles. 17 points, not fantastic. But I don't think this board has much to offer. I do not have a bingo, but this is, well, fairly balanced. And I do have a decent lead. Well, it's a good score by my opponent. There's 3 tiles in the bag, including the Q. I don't have anything which goes in front of the H, but none of the remaining tiles goes in front of the H of Huey, so row A is not a dangerous spot. The Q, my opponent could play the Q at A12, making cheese and qua. That would be a big score for him. So, do I block that? Tricky. Because I can't block it and play off one of my eyes. Well, this could be really close if my opponent plays qua in that spot. Now I've got 10 minutes left, so I'm not short on time. Well, I guess I can place my P rather than my W here. I can play the I. I can play the R. It's not a particularly useful tile. Oh, well, there are 3 tiles left, so I do want to play off just the 2 to leave 1 in the bag. So I think that's fine. And I draw the Q. But I have a U to go with it. Well, I'm not seeing great spots. I certainly do want to play my Q. Obelia. Great, my opponent has provided somewhere for my Q. I'm only 40 points in front. My opponent will certainly be going out next go. So, is there anywhere better than M13 for my Q? And if I do place my Q there, I'm really just placing a single tile. Yes, I can do better than that. I can play choir down here. The leave is awful, but that doesn't matter because my opponent is going to be going out. And there may well have been a much better spot than that for my Q. But victory is assured. My opponent could play AI at N15 for 8 points. You can play 8 at G13. Okay, J 17 points, that's pretty good. Pass to end the game. And the final score, 399 to my opponent, 438 to me, a winning margin of 39 points. Let's see what I missed. So, pretty awful rack. Fortunately it was my opponent's. He changed. I played Krantz, and Krantz also is playable with a T, which would have been slightly better than my play. Well, Yerd was valid with an E, I wasn't sure of that. My play of ready. Well, I played DD for 32. Okay, not a huge amount between those moves. Well, there is Tyrighty, but without the S because it wasn't playable as a bingo. I played Tighty at I5 for 11 points. Yeah, I think it's still pretty good because it keeps the S. Nice play by my opponent. Isogriff, that's a good play, playable at E14, making brays. And Vigorous scored the same amount. Jack C for 42 at C13. That would have been pretty good. Rack lever VNOT. I did think about that and convinced myself it was JAXIE. At Jinx for 36, not too bad apart from the excess of vowels. Ergotoid, the only bingo, so glad to have spotted that. Food at L8. Well, yeah, maybe I should have given more consideration to that. I think maybe I was over anxious to play off both Fs. But having gotten rid of the Fs, I was rewarded with a bingo. Nice bingo by my opponent. What did I do here? Okay, I played pawn for 17. Yeah, I think that's okay. Retaining the only vowel I had was quite a good thing to do. L1, Leip. Yeah, that would have been pretty good, but I was defending against my opponent, scoring well with the Q. Now, oh wow, look at that, Re-Quinn at 01 for 48, well that was certainly a miss. Quire looks like it was second best, but this is an instance where there's a big gap between first and second best. And then my opponent maximised his out play with J. So, an interesting game, quite a few challenging racks to deal with, so I hope you got something out of that and enjoyed watching it. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.